Hello, my name is Matthew, and there was that really great conversation video, tag video going around, of making a list of your top five English novels, and I took part in a way. It took me days to consider and put in a lot of thought, and eventually I didn't even really make a top five list of my favorite English novels. Instead, it was mostly Irish and Scottish. And it got me thinking about doing other conversation videos like that as well. My top five French novels, my top five Russian novels. And then this morning, Michael K. Vaughan made a wonderful conversation video of his top five novels in translation. And I thought that was just the best idea. And instead of laboring and considering and spending a few days and in the back of my mind passing thoughts, trying to put together a list, instead, the list was made. Five books came together almost immediately. And I have five books here in translation, which I'll go through. And it's so easy to tell that they are my favorites. Compared to the listlessness that I was going through with the English novels, which just really shows me I'm not a huge lover of the English novel. It was bad enough. One of my choices was The Prelude by Wordsworth, so I was already stretching myself. But in any event, these five novels in translation, I've read all of them more than once, and every time that I've read them, I've thought to myself, this might be the best book I've ever read. And it goes for all of them. This is practically uh, my top five novels, favorite novels of all time. It could be. I couldn't take any of them away. It would just be a matter of adding in some of the English novels. There are some glaring omissions just because the list has to be so short. So, no Tolstoy, no Kafka, no Balzac, no Solzhenitsyn, no Nikolai Gogol. It's just how it has to be. These are my favorites. And the first I'll start with is The Toilers of the Sea by Victor Hugo, translated by James Hogarth. This is the only edition that I've ever read, the Hogarth translation. And I love Victor Hugo. Everything that I've read by him. Les Miserables is the grand masterpiece. I remember somebody described it as a great big baggy monster. It has everything thrown into it, and it's magnificent. You have to get used to the digressions and just accept that you're spending time with Victor Hugo, who's a know-it-all. Hunchback, Hunchback of Notre Dame, probably his most pitch perfect novel. It really is a perfect novel where everything is executed precisely. It's just, it works like a machine. It has iconic, memorable characters. It's a historical novel. It has iconic landmarks. It's a romance. It's a tragedy. It all fits together. But Toilers of the Sea is my favorite. It's a seafaring maritime adventure novel. It has digressions, and it has those moments where Victor Hugo's talking to you, but it is an adventure novel, and it has these gripping episodes, great characters, romance and tragedy, and also illustrations by Victor Hugo, which are really very well done. That's one there, and I love this novel. These are not in any sort of order. They're all interchangeable, essentially, as my favorite novel. Next, I'll say Madame Bovary by Gustave Flaubert, the Lydia Davis translation. And I've read a few translations of Madame Bovary, and I really like the Lydia Davis translation. And I think I've actually made videos talking about all of these books. Flaubert just wrote perfect things. I really can hold up Sentimental Education or The Temptation of St. Anthony or Salambo or even Bovard and Picochet. It's an unfinished novel, but it's terrific. I love it. So strange and funny. And this is a domestic drama, just the interior life of someone who had different expectations as to what married life was going to be. The last time I read this, I was astounded by how cinematic it felt. There were scene changes that you could really feel the camera zooming in or panning. Exciting parts loped along. Sad interior moments. You could practically hear the violins. It's a sensory novel. You smell and hear everything. And there's absurd, funny moments. I just love Madame Bovary. The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann. This is translated by John E. Woods, and I've only read the John E. Woods translation. And this book is a mountain. It's one of my favorite novels. It's one of those microcosm novels, which is almost like a subgenre that I really enjoy. I'm also thinking of things like Cancer Ward, or even like The Castle, where we're up in this sanitarium with Hans Castorp, and we're meeting all these people that are shuffling around. They're smoking cigars and swaddling up in the mountain air, and then you get conversations and philosophical ideas, and I feel like this book is very well paced for what it's trying to do. There are moments where it is incredibly dense and it does feel like you're hitting a wall, but there's a balancing act, and I feel like it moves along quite quickly. And I've always said to people that have been intimidated by this book, is it unlike a lot of these postmodern or modern novels, things like Ulysses or Remembrance of Things Past, I really get the sense that Thomas Mann knows he's handing you something intimidating. He's aware of it, and he's taking you along. He's saying, come along. It has one of the greatest opening prefaces, or because Hans Castorp is going to get stuck up in this sanitarium for 7 years. And at the very beginning, the foreword, Thomas Mann is talking about how this is a daunting task. It's going to take a long time to read. And he says, but for God's sake, surely it cannot be as long as 7 years. Great little nod. Just one of my absolute favorite novels, the Karamazov Brothers. Michael K. Vaughan and I share this novel as making it into our list. He held up the David Macduff translation, which was the first translation that I had read. This is the Ignat Avesy translation, and I recommend everything that Ignat Avesy has translated. This is my favorite translation of the Karamazov Brothers. I love that cover. And I made a multi-part video, like 5 or 6 videos, going through this whole thing, and um, it's phenomenal and incredibly rereadable. All of these books are books that reward. Going back to spending time with these characters, spending time in these situations, the humor in this book. After you know what's going on, after the intimidation, which should very quickly wash away when you get into it, um, Dostoevsky is intense, emotionally high rung, dark, tragic, can be cynical, all of those things. But this book also has a lot of light and levity and really well earned moments of humor. So it has a lot of emotions. One of my favorite novels of all time. And number 5, or number 1, is Don Quixote by Cervantes. This is the Edith Grossman translation. I can't remember the other translation that I had read. It was that little signet, an unabridged signet edition. And I love the Edith Grossman translation. It's the one to have. And I just recently read part 1. I'll be reading part 2. I still have it bookmarked. I'll be reading part 2 on my flight to Spain, which should be happening this summer, which I'm excited about. And upon rereading this just recently, I was impressed with the characters, and impressed with the humor and the storytelling ability, but it really felt like a premise. The beginning of it was a premise for a short story, and it just starts growing and getting better and better and not going off the rails or going down a disappointing path. Just a book that gets bigger and bigger and better. And the funniest of all I didn't really, it's not much of a competition, but also just one of the funniest books I've read. And so, yeah, my top 5 novels in translation. I'll leave a link to Michael K. Vaughan's video as well, which was a great discussion. If this is a tag video, then feel free to make a video like this if you care to. So let me know what you think about these books, or any of my thoughts on it, or anything like that. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment if you would like, and take care.